say that today we had a society that's 90% worker cooperatives in terms of businesses, and like 90% of people work at worker cooperatives. And now let's say that this same society is faced with the problem of we've got, this super powerful AI that is blowing out our ability to produce things. How is this society better equipped to deal with this problem than the society that we have today?
Two things. First of all, with the GDP memes, the profitability actually, there's good empirics. I'll send it in chat. The profitability precedes the other things, and that it's a better predictor than other things like aggregate demand in terms of things. The cause seems to be the order basically seems to be a rise in capital output, a fall in the rate of profit, leading to a fall in investment, leading to a fall in GDP and wages and such.
Well, sure, but again, that capital, like these things aren't held. Again, I think this is more a narrative, but it's the implications that matter there, right? So, like when you say a rise in capital output, right? So something's causing that rise, right? It's not like you just exist in an economy where capital output just increases, right? And so, what I would guess is that the thing causing that capital output to increase, the thing causing that rate of profit to either fall or decline, these are the factors that are actually causing, recessions, contractions, expansions, booms. Rather than just like the metrics themselves, right? But
sure,
to be fair, I have to review this this paper. Maybe it's robust, but I'm sure there might be exceptions here. But
yeah, if you can find a problem with the methodology, that'd be interesting. I've been throwing this at a lot of people. I haven't been able to find anybody who's had a problem with it.
Well, surely you don't have any expectation that he would do that live, though.
No. But there does seem to be a correlation here. And further, if you want me to like do the breakdown, I do have a breakdown of the causes of the rate of profit. I have one that shows the constant exploitation rate of profit, which is like a really, really LARPy way of saying just like adjusted for how much how much of the wages to profit ratio is.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess
like of total investment to profit.
Yeah, I guess I'm looking. I mean, on I think it's the first graph that they link here, and perhaps lower on down they get more into it. But I mean, it seems like based on this graph, there doesn't really. It seems like recessions are more what's causing profitability to go down, which is maybe what you'd expect. Like obviously during a recession, profits will decrease by quite a bit, and then it seems like we have periods where profits decline for even a while before we have a recession. And then weirdly enough, this data set seems to only go to 1980, no, I'm sorry. I guess we have to scroll down to see the other part. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not really convinced presently by this. But on the next point, when it comes to worker cooperatives, I guess how does a worker cooperative society deal better with the problem of an AI basically blowing out the economy?
So just on the specifics of that graph, it's hard to see because it's a pretty wide time frame. The measurement is it's 4 to 5 quarters prior is what they found is when profitability precedes recession by 4 to 5 quarters. Obviously, you're not going to really see that on this scale, though. As far as how worker cooperatives help, by removing the profit incentive from investment, by making it a democratic structure, by moving to like national banks, you can mitigate a lot of the problems with drops in investment because of profitability.
Well, okay, so the two separate things though, right? So imagine a society with a worker cooperative, right? So say that because someone has to come up with the AI first, right? So if someone comes up with the AI, either it be a worker cooperative firm or just one of the few private firms that still exist under this system, that one firm is going to dominate every other firm, right? Like no firm is going to be able to compete because they've now got this basically alien technology that's blowing everyone out, right? And so in this society, I'm not sure outside of like expropriation or like you said, a sovereign wealth fund, how that works, right? It's just that you labeled worker cooperatives as like an independent way to solve this problem. And I think that fundamentally it's going to have to come down to maybe national banks if you explain the structure, and then like sovereign wealth funds. But I don't know how worker cooperatives by themselves, all else equal, help alleviate this problem more than any other thing you mentioned.
I don't know what you mean by like independent. I meant worker cooperatives in tandem with a national bank. That's like the policy coupling, right? I don't want national banks to like just run and invest in capitalist businesses, because that can lead to a lot of problems in terms of like concentration of power. But the
Okay.
as far as the like the cooperative developing the AGI and being able to dominate anything, this isn't really a problem, right? If the AGI just hires everyone, and if the AGI has good goals instead of like profit-oriented goals, where its goals are like I don't know if you're a utilitarian, but if it has like utilitarian-driven goals, or it has metrics that can approximate that are more agreeable, then we can have a then we don't have to deal with the profitability dropping in investment again, which you see the problem. So first of all, you don't have to see the profitability dropping investment, and the worker cooperative is going to be democratic, right? So if it eats everyone, if it grows to take up the entire economy, then it'll be a democratic system, and that'll be probably the most advanced system, as long as the AGI has good goals. Ideally, we would have the government create the AGI and then use the AGI to drive investment in utilitarian ways, and either through like the sovereign wealth fund, or through a more direct government sponsored initiative into investing in AI. But either way, that AGI would need to move to planning investment in the economy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is where we get into that sort of Star Trek type fantasy world. Now, I get that what you're saying is that, well, a lot of experts are actually predicting that this technology will happen, right? And I'm sure that we can make many predictions over the course of a long time, and we might say that at one point that they will come true, right? But I think that in the world that you're describing, it sounds like you're describing a world where basically AI has become so advanced that it's like, it's like that central planning dream world where you can actually essentially plan an entire economy and do it more equitably and efficiently than like a market economy, right? Where you've got AI that's so advanced that so long as it's democratically accountable and sort of government operated, you don't necessarily need a lot of private market mechanisms. And maybe this is a world where we can actually agree that might be true, but I feel like it's a little bit difficult to it's difficult to clash on that issue, just because again, this is technology that's only been theorized, hasn't been developed as far as I'm aware. Like really, really powerful and not necessarily autonomous, but like really, really powerful AI just isn't really a thing right now, and it's just a theoretical application. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. Like it's
Yeah,
like
and not to cut. I'm sorry to cut you off, Econoboi, but we're 30 minutes into the debate, and to be perfectly honest with you, I've been following this and taking notes, and I'm still kind of confused as to where we're at. We had a $10 super chat came in that I think is going to help with this a bit, but maybe just as a broader overview, so that I make sure that I have this down. What I'm hearing is Skynet's going to be here in 30 years, right? And I'm not even trying to be patronizing. I'm just saying Skynet is in an AI that can construct other artificial intelligence, right? Okay, this is going to be catastrophic for the human workforce, but I'm not really sure how the socialism comes in to fix any of that, right? The worker co-ops, the stuff like this, which maybe kind of leads into how does your system deal with the exponential gamification of behavior, which leans itself to competition and capitalism via ubiquitous mirror world tech?
I think Jim Bob might be more big brain than me. I think I might have been outsmart. I have no idea what this question is asking.
I think he's trolling a bit, but I think that was his point, right? Is he saying like, look, the Econoboi is kind of trying to drive this point over and over, and I kind of need it answered for the debate to move forward, which is he's saying, look, this is future tech that you're talking about and how it's going to impact us 30 or 40 years down the road, and he really needs an answer from you as to how your policies are going to stop an AI from going through and even with worker co-ops and stopping it. And that's where I'm getting hung up too, and I think the audience is getting hung up. So maybe you could kind of flesh that out for us a little bit so that we can get into it.
So the two basic functions that we're going to be talking about are going to be the profitability problem and the job loss problem. So the profitability problem is instantly solved by socialism, because when that AI drives down profitability by making technology insanely efficient, by driving the rate of profit to insanely low metrics, we can or by driving it to like 1/0 essentially, we can't do market investment anymore. So now we have to move to planned investment. I don't think that would be like a necessarily a centrally planned economy. I guess Econoboi probably disagrees, but I would like for like index funds and cooperatives to compete. And with the competition as far as like the job loss problem, this is solved. This isn't solved under socialism. It's better under socialism than capitalism. And we can talk about whether the government will be more responsive and whatnot. I don't think we ever really got into the role of AGI in producing propaganda. But the job loss problem is essentially solved by, or it's not solved, it's mitigated by the fact that workers are going to be more likely to be compassionate to each other. There are good metrics on this than capitalists who own the business. Cooperatives are better for their communities in general. They're just more likely to work towards that. Plus, social wealth funds will be able to fund robust welfare states to help facilitate difficult transitions.